Okay, we're going to have fun in this video. We're going to take a brand new bone stock Minelab Equinox 800 and do some upgrades to it. And there are just a ton of accessories out there for this machine, which is a benefit to all of us who own one or are thinking about getting one. And it's kind of like everybody who buys a Jeep. Probably no matter which model Jeep you buy, there is a catalog completely filled with aftermarket upgrades for your Jeep. And that's kind of the way it is for the Equinox. So let's take a look at the accessories that we bought here, and we'll bolt them on together and do like a kind of a before and after and give you my final thoughts on it. I did want to tell you that down in the comments below, there is a section down there where I added in a bunch of links to other arm cuff systems that I found and other carbon fiber shaft systems that I found. And these are just the ones that I kind of know about, and a bunch of other accessories. But trust me, if you dive into the internet a little bit, you can find all kinds of other things and different manufacturers that make all this stuff. And hey, if you have a 3D printer, why not have fun and print your own coil ear stiffeners? Put a link to that down below as well. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so here's one of the things we're going to put on today. This is a aftermarket rod made by Steve Goss out of Norman, Oklahoma. And I will tell you that when my nephew bought all this from Steve, he had a lot of interactions with him in emails and text messages, and that he was saying that his customer support was outstanding. Some of these things on this rod were custom built for my nephew, and I think it had something to do with the weight inside this. And we'll take a look at that in a second, but pretty much this is what we got in the box. We got the main shaft connected with the lower shaft with the locking system here. And then we have a counterweight and an extra shaft for the other small coil. And then let's take a look at the main shaft here and this cam lock system here. So it's got one of those levers like bicycle seats have that kind of turns and tightens, and then it cam locks. And go ahead and oh, look at that. Nice. That's a nice, strong, sturdy design there. Love that design on that. And if anything ever went wrong, it looks like a very easy part to replace, but I don't foresee any problems with that at all. So really nice design there. Down here at the end, you notice that we don't have the teardrop shapes down here on the grommets. These are round, so they're different. So again, we're not going to be using these, the ones that we got from Detected. We'll be using the ones that came with our Steve's rod system. And up here on the business end, we have Steve's information here and the appropriate holes. It's going to be a super easy install on this. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, to get started here, you see this little hole right here? It lines up with the old hole on this shaft here. And this base plate that was the bottom of the control head, this plastic piece goes right in this hole. We'll put that in there real quick. And kind of just locks in there like that. And then we put the control head on next. No wires to worry about with any of this. And we'll go ahead and put the 4 screws back in. And while he's doing that, I'll tell you guys, it's kind of funny. I woke up this morning and this big old tree in my front yard, which was just branches last night with little buds, looks like this all of a sudden. Just overnight, literally all that came out of nowhere overnight. I was completely shocked to walk out and see this morning in my front yard. It does it every year, obviously, but today was the day. And we get the last screw in here. I wouldn't over tighten these, no need for it at all. I mean, and there's that. Let's put the new arm cuff on here. We'll go ahead and start working on that next. And we'll check back with you guys in just a second when we get that put together. Okay, so we unboxed this. Here's all the parts that were in there. You can see we have everything here on the picture. So, and I'll tell you also, the packaging on this was very impressive. All pre-die cut, and we were really impressed with the packaging. So let's go ahead and put this together real quick. You can see this is the base and this is the top. And we're going to elect not to use the neoprene rubber on the inside here. probably won't use that, but you could just adhesive back, put that in there. So let's go ahead and skip forward a little bit and we'll show you how it looks when we get it all bolted up. I want to take a second to point out to you that there is a front and back to this arm cuff here. I don't know if you can see this little kicked out edge right in the right front out here, how it comes down in a kind of a triangle. That's the front, goes to the front of the detector. And the back's got just a slight curve to it. So right in your image right now is the front and the left is the rear. All right, so these little brackets go in just like this. And you can see one on the right there is already installed. So that's how we start. The screws go from the cuff down. All right, so we got some little nylon locking nuts down there, little small guys, but they're all attached. And you can see that this is how it looks from the side and the top. And we'll go ahead and position that and make sure it's nice and straight and tighten it down. So really cool with the little lockers in there though. Love to see that so you don't have to worry about it coming loose later. Okay, all tightened up and ready to roll. It does not move at all. It doesn't slide up and down the shaft at all. So far so good on this. And we'll move on to the next upgrade, which is going to be the counterweight back here. Super easy install on that. Okay, so we have the counterweight here. Let's take a look at that real quick because counterweight has a neat feature to it. I'm going to let Santos open the back of that up and show us what's inside that. So when you take this cap off the back, super high quality, everything on this is just incredible build quality. Very impressed with the build quality just on the counterweight. But there's a small bag in here full of shot pellets, and that's where the weight comes from. And there's a bigger bag in here full of shot pellets so that you could custom, put anything you want in there for weight. But that's what we went with these two weights right here for us, and we'll test it and see if that's a good counterweight. But I would recommend that if you're not running the 11-inch coil, maybe this is all you need. So the 6-inch coil and then the 11, maybe both. We'll test it and see. But there's the counterweight, and it just screws right into the end of the shaft. That's going to be an easy part. So super simple, like I said. Just take this little plug out here, threaded plug. And keep that threaded plug in case you don't need your counterweight. That's awesome. It looks pretty good. Man, look at that. All right, we'll put the weight back in here in a minute and test it out. So I want to talk about this Velcro piece here. To put this in, to get this side, this is the soft part, and then the loop part over here. This is the harder, scratchier part, and the soft part here. If you're right-handed, you go from the inside. So you bring the soft part in first. It was very tough to get this through this little skinny hole over here. We had to use an actual pair of pliers to pull it through the first hole and the second hole. But once it got through, it automatically just kind of grabs over here. So you're good. Once it's in there, you're good. And it's a one-time thing to deal with. Easy to handle with pliers though. Okay, so the batteries for this machine are located right here in the handle. And they're lithium ion, and obviously they're in the handle. You can't replace them. It's a rechargeable only machine with that little magnet mount in the back here. And look at this cool accessory right here. I've never heard of these before, but the person who owns this machine, who bought all these upgrades, bought this, found it online somewhere. This is really cool. It mounts to the detector, and we're gonna mount it up here in a minute. And it's a reserve power pack. And you can see it has the USB out. So the little cable that came with this machine goes from this magnet mount right into this pack. And you can run the machine literally for hours off of just this. Even if your battery is completely dead inside the handle on the machine, or even if you forgot to charge the machine at the house, but you somehow did remember to charge this, you're okay. This will give you an extra many hours of detecting, I think 3 or 4 hours. So anyway, that's a really cool accessory. We're gonna install that real quick. All right, so we got this installed on here. We use some Velcro. It's designed to mount right onto the back of the stock arm cuff. But since we're not running that, we decided to use some industrial strength Velcro, and works perfect. And that's where it would live on our machine. And we have it plugged in, tested it, it works fine. And like I said, what a really cool idea that is, and very affordable too. So one more upgrade for you there. All right, so here's another accessory we're going to be putting on today. This came from Snowdax Metal Detecting Accessories on eBay. And this is the fortifiers for the coil. This is for the small 6-inch coil, and this is for the 11-inch. They look to be 3D printed, but super high quality and flexible. I'm impressed with the material already. And these are to fortify the coil ears on the Equinox so that they don't break under stress. So we'll install those too, and that's who they came from. Let's go ahead and install this. It's going to be super easy to do, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. And it literally just pushes right down and sits in there just perfect. And that's all there is to it. That's a pretty significant upgrade right there that I highly recommend to save your coil ears. That's it. We'll attach that to the shaft here shortly. Okay, so here's the one for the 11-inch coil here, and it just drops straight down. And man, it's a nice fit. I mean, it's just a rock solid fit. Comes with these, and they recommend that you run this through here, this channel down here, and go around here and grab the bottom of the skid plate with it and tighten it. But we're going to elect not to do that. We think it's just fine the way it is this way, and the screw's going to hold it, and we just don't see the reason to use these, but the manufacturer does recommend that you use these. But we like it just like this, so we'll go ahead and bolt that up real quick and take a look at it afterwards. Okay, so here it is bolted up now, and we found that you don't have to tighten these very tight, a lot less than you do on the stock system. So it's maybe just something to do with the grommets or the bracket that fortifies the ears, but whatever it is, it's a nice tight system, even with just a little bit of pressure. You don't need to over tighten those at all. So done deal, and ready to mount up and head out. That's the extra shaft that we got from Steve's there, and we're done. Let's take a look at the final product here. Okay, here it is, final product. Good looking machine, man. Woo! That is nice. Major upgrades right there. And I can highly recommend all these upgrades to you. The only thing I will say that was a little weird for me and my nephew who owns this machine is that when you're swinging it, you're not used to this piece right here coming back like this and hit you in the rib cage. And you got to get used to that. It's not often in a normal swing that you'll encounter that, but if you try to go sideways like that or set the machine down, you may realize that this will hit you. I think you'll learn to know it's there all the time and forget all about it after just a couple minutes or so, but it is an issue right now because I've never dealt with that before. So other than that, the balance is absolutely perfect, even with the 6-inch coil with one bag in here, and we tried the 11 with both, and it's just a perfect balance. So there it is, final product.